Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tarot with an Attitude and Eyes of the Dragonfly. Eyes of the Dragonfly with Brigitte. How are you tonight, Miss Brigitte?
I'm good. How about you?
I am good, actually. I am good. I got a little bit of rest today. Didn't try to pile too much on myself. Seemed like I was busy, but man, when I got up this morning, it was crazy. That was even like I was wiped out yesterday. I don't know what that was. So that's the reason tonight, folks, Bridget and I talk. We're like, what are we going to do? Tonight we're just going to talk about tarot, different things, whatever pops up. And you are going to get an insight into what Brigitte and Rob shoot the shit about and how we go about it. Yeah.
Rob it, Brigitte, Rob.
Yeah. So welcome, everybody. Glad you are here. So let me see. We got loads of people in the house. Sorry to fill up. I'm glad to see it. We got Mr. Bruce peeking in the door. Cynthia, Donna. Glad everybody's here. Who am I missing? Deborah. I see Deborah's here. So many people coming in. I don't want to skip somebody over. Peace. Good to see you. Glad you are here. Let's see what's happening, and we will go and see what's going on. If we want to get started, with the reading, let's get started with the reading. Let's do a little bit of grounding first, a little protection, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course.
Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, the Divine Mother, thank you for everything that you've given to us. Thank you for our gifts, the things that we take for granted. We need to stop and remember. We ask now as we go into this tonight, Brigitte and I are just going to be very conversational. We're just going to be talking, put words out there for us. Let me hear what you've got to say. If we do some readings, I need your words to come through and not mine. Just open us up to some different things and keep us safe tonight. And all that matters, so mote it be. All right. So, in talking about that, you and I had an interesting conversation when we were talking about what we're going to talk about. And tonight we said we were going to talk about, just some different things of tarot. And right before we go into what Peace is, Peace wants to know what's coming for me in coming days. Let's talk about that. Because, and I want, one of the things we said was, and you had said it, that I read some of the cards differently than you do. Okay? But that's what makes it great. That's the reason I've told people I can lay a spread out on the table, and without knowing what I'm asking, Gillian will come by and get a complete different reading out of it. Is there a card that you can think of right out of the gate that is different for us that you noticed when you said that, or is it just in the way we read?
I think it's just in the way we interpret, or maybe in the message that we get. You see different things. You see a different message to deliver a lot of times than I do.
Okay.
When it comes to specific stuff. Like, all right, here's a prime example. I've got this 8 of Cups, right? Just this 8 of Cups. And I'm saying, to me, this is you walking away from something. There's something happening that you need to walk away from. And there's things going on that for me, the 8 of Cups is, I'm done. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it means to me. Now, in the past, and I'm going to speak for you just once,
go right ahead. Go right ahead.
To you, the 8 of Cups is something within yourself. Typically, you will read it as something within the querent that they need to release or let go or walk away from.
Yes, a lot of times I do. You're absolutely right.
For me, it could be that, depending on what's happening around it. But right off the cuff, this is very physical for me. This is me. This is This is done and dusted. I've had it. I'm done. I'm walking away. Whatever it is, whether it's a thought process or if it's something physical in the world. That's how I see the card. And
it's an actual time of termination for you. Something that this is ending. I'm done.
I'm done. I'm walking. Yeah, I've had it. I'm walking away.
Okay.
This is it. And you know, indicative of the other cups that are left standing while he's walking away is
correct.
I don't give a shit what more you have to. Oops, sorry. I don't care what more you have to offer.
Knock that shit off. All right.
I don't care what more you have to offer. I'm done. I personally have reached my point of no return. It's time for me to just walk away.
And I totally understand that. And that is a great way to read that card. I'm looking at things differently or trying to get different pictures. And some of it is that maybe don't need to cut my nose off to spite my face. I've always said, you know me, when I'm done, I'm done. Okay. Right. I will cut my nose off to spite your face. And I will literally tell somebody, keep your $100,000. I don't need your energy in my life. And I will walk away from it.
Going home, right.
And I never look back going, maybe I should have kept on. No, I don't. Once I get there, you're right. That's where I get. In that with it being an emotional attachment, a lot of times being with cups and the water and things like that, then it's like, is there something that maybe I'm emotionally attached to that I need to let go of and not, you know, so it can run that whole gamut. But I think while we're talking about tarot energy and things like this, that's very important for people to understand. There's no right or wrong way to read the card.
Right.
You know, I do think it's something that you should look for in your reader. If you've got a personal reader, somebody that reads for you all the time, are their readings speaking to you? Are they constant? Are they changing or whatnot? But no, I think that's a card. You're absolutely right. I can read that card so many different ways. And I'm sure I have when you and I have been doing readings before.
Yeah, we read things differently all the time. But I just want to stop for 1 second, Rob. I apologize.
Sure.
But Donna has her son just drove his truck into a ditch. So I think maybe we need to.
What?
Yeah. So I think we need to, maybe you can do one of your whole, let's wrap some energy around Donna and
absolutely. We will bring everything to a screeching halt. And if somebody sees Donna come back in, you know, let her know. We instantly, the minute Brigitte saw it, we stopped and went into prayer mode. Heavenly Father, we are bringing these angels. We are demanding their presence right now in Donna's front yard. We want everybody to be free. We want everybody to be safe. And if there are injuries or anything of that nature, that you're there to take care of them, and healing can begin right away. It's a scary thing when we watch something happen to our children. Have Raphael put his arms around Donna. Raphael put his arms around everybody that's there so everybody can be protected. Michael, make sure the communication comes through. Bringing the energy as above, so below. Trying to draw it in right now so we can just radiate that front yard with angels and energy and love, and knowing that we want everybody to be okay. With all that being said, so mote it be. Do you have anything you want to add to that, or?
Well, no, I just, you know, all the energy I can give, all the energy you'll accept, I'm sending to you and your family.
There we go.
You know.
There we go. Tribe, we take this very seriously. So if somebody's new out there and they're just peeking in and they're not really putting anything up in here, remember, you can always come in here and ask for a prayer, do whatever. We are very caring about what we do, and we mean it, and our connections or whatnot. So that is, one of those things. So, maybe he needs to, the 8 of Cups, we were talking about it, maybe he needs to walk away from that truck.
Well, I find it interesting. We're talking about the 8 of Cups, and Donna's like, gotta go. Bye.
Yeah. And see, like that. And, sometimes folks, the 8 of Cups, it is trying to tell you, maybe I'm a little too nice with it sometimes. there's something that's not serving your higher good. Bottom line is, if it's not serving your higher good, you need to cut that shit loose and go.
Right.
Okay. And find stuff that is. Cut that person loose and go. It's one of those things. So, all right, let's get back to it. So that's interesting. So I want to hear from Donna what's happening and everything else. So let's know I wish I knew how big and what this ditch was, because now I'll be wondering, So let's see what happens here. So Peace, what's coming for me in coming days? So I'm going to pull 2 cards. Brigitte can pull 2 cards. And in the spirit of us talking about how we interpret those cards, Brigitte, I want you to say what you think about my cards as well as yours, and I will do the same thing. And we can see how interpreting these things, neither one of us is right and neither one of us is wrong. And I think that's important to people to understand. They always think there's right or wrong in the cards. And most of the time, that's not true. It's just not true. So what deck are you using tonight? I'm using the Lights Ears Tarot deck.
I'm using the 78 Tarot Halloween deck pocket size. It's pretty.
Okay.
It's little.
All right. So I pulled the Shadow card and the Light card to get a quick overall reading of what's going on. Let me bring this up and go from there. And then we'll talk about what you brought up. Okay. And you tell me what you see. Now, what I got here is the 7 of Swords piece. Okay. This is your overall shadow card, meaning sometimes when we look at a shadow card, it's the overall, it's the spectrum of the reading. It's what the reading is going to be about to me. Okay. And this is telling me in the 7 of Swords, somebody's sneaking around, somebody's up to something. There's something about dishonesty is afoot. Now, whether that could be with you or with them, or somebody's trying to get you, or you're thinking about driving ahead on something. But the 7 of Swords is dishonesty. It's something's wrong, but we're always talking about what's up here in the head. We are talking about the way you're thinking about things, rational thought and communication. So that's what I've got. And then I have that followed by the Temperance. So Temperance is 14, okay, 1 and 4, beginning and starting a new base. But you bring this together for a 5, and this is talking about Temperance balance. Notice how he's got black and gold. It's all together. So something's going on that's got to be balanced. Now is not a good time to be throwing money or thinking outside of the box. Stop, look, listen, and keep everything on an even keel is what I see coming in the next coming days. Now, where are you at, Brigitte?
With your cards?
Yeah.
And you're going to laugh when you see mine.
That's all right.
Yeah, with the 7 of Swords, to me, that's a caution card.
Good way to put it.
That's somebody who is, whether it's you or another person in your space, it's somebody who is intentionally communicating deceptively. That's yes. The way I'm thinking. It's a card of sort of shady behavior and deception. And then your Temperance for me is, the way I would read these 2 cards is be on the lookout, whether it's within yourself or somebody else, for someone who's lying or being deceptive, and have patience. Be patient, because the truth will out. You're going to see this person is not being genuine, but the universe is going to reveal that to you in time. And that's,
and you know what came to me when you were saying that is, this may not be that somebody's lying to you for something of themselves. Somebody could be lying to you about somebody else.
Or something.
Came through very strong for me. And you need to keep that balance of, maybe there's 2 sides to every story or whatnot. Does that make sense, Brigitte?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
definitely temperance tells me the truth will out. Be patient because you're going to get you're going to get the truth.
Yep.
No matter what the Seven of Swords does. So interestingly, the first card was the High Priestess for me.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened to my camera angle. My computer reset, and I'm gonna have to mess with it. But I got the High Priestess and Temperance, right?
Wow. Okay.
So when I looked at these before you even flipped yours, yeah, I'm laughing. Before you even flipped yours over, I thought, oh boy, Peace is going to find themselves in a situation where they're going to have to trust their intuition, and just wait something out. So Peace, whatever's going on in your world, if just listen to your body, listen to what your intuition is telling you. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. And it's whatever it is, whether it's a message of friends or something that's too good to be true, you're eventually going to see with the Temperance card that you're going to see what the reality is. But if it feels, look, if it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So,
and now this is one of those things where I read that card, the High Priestess card, a little differently. A lot of people go, that's my, that's my intuition card. Use your intuition, use your intuition. Whenever we look at that card, generally they're holding some type of very knowledgeable book, the Torah, the Ten Commandments, something like that. Okay. So what I have grown to realize with that is intuition also involves your own personal knowledge. Somebody might be trying to tell you something like a shock value or something that's shaking you to be like, that goes against everything I was taught. If that's what's going on, that Temperance card is there to remind you, don't overreact.
Right. So
let this play out. Let this play out. Oh, what card is that? That's cool looking.
It's the Five of Wands. Peace was asking regarding what kind of truth. So it's something that you're dealing with either within yourself or within your very close personal circle.
Yeah. Some type of drama is cooking. And that Five of Wands to me says, get your ass out of the drama. Don't get involved in the drama. Let it be. Okay. Because again, somebody's not being completely upfront and honest. All right. Use your own intuition and gut. But what is amazing that came through is both of us pulled that Temperance card. And that is crazy, So yeah. So this is why it's important. See, different messages close to the same thing. All right. But a little bit different of how people read cards. And that's important to understand in tarot. Brigitte doesn't reject my reading of a card. I don't reject Brigitte's. Okay. One of the things, if you're getting readings, it's good for you to have a little bit of a knowledge of the cards for yourself. So when you see the card, you're not totally reliant on somebody to give, maybe that could mean this. Nobody knows you like you, So that's one of those things. So let's see what's going on. Hey, look here. Wolf's in the house. Glad to see you, Wolf. Haven't seen you in a while. Bangarang. See what's going on and see what's shaking. Hello, everyone in chat. Wolf, it's where you been? Where you been? Good to see you. Good to see you. Tonight, Wolf, we're just talking about some Bridget and I are kind of shooting the shit over coffee and talking about tarot. If somebody needs a reading, then we'll do a reading or whatnot. But we're talking about right now about differences in tarot, and it doesn't mean anybody's right or wrong. So it's a great thing to do. I know people that will only read using a spread, meaning every card is an answer to an allocated question. I very seldom read with a spread. That makes it more complicated for me. Sometimes trying to read, like what is challenging me. And then y'all have heard me talk about this. Well, and then the sun card goes in there. Well, wait a minute. Okay. But when you have to sit down and look at it, then you have to look at, everything's fine. No. Because the question was, how is this card challenging me? How is that being my challenge? And it might be that I'm being an Eeyore. And oh no,
right,
everything's wrong. I'm only focused on everything that's wrong. Okay. And that's my challenge, is this finding the bright light at the end. It must be the day for accidents. I'm going to tell a little story on my daughter. My daughter she didn't have a car accident, but she's doing a lift run with people in the car and had a flat tire, had to pull off the side of the road, change the tire. Now, as the story evolves, the people are from Canada. They were super friendly. The man got out of the car and actually helped her change her tire. Okay. She got them to another place, got them another ride. They didn't have to pay, blah, blah, blah. And everything came out roses. But because it's her job, she didn't want a low rating, things like that. She became very, very focused on everything that went wrong.
Right.
Okay. And one of the things I had to tell her, so yes, I tell this to my own family, was wait a minute. You ever think those might be two Canadian angels that God knew you were going to have a problem? So he put somebody in the car that would help you with the flat and got you safely to where you need to go. And let's focus on everything that went right. So that's an indicative picture of the sun card being a challenge.
Right.
Am I making sense?
Yeah. Yes, you absolutely are.
Yeah. And it's very easy to do, especially when things aren't going your way. All of a sudden we start focusing. I have to tell people, don't manifest the bad things. If you start worrying about what's going on, I hate that saying, plan for everything to go wrong and be happy when everything goes right. I don't know. Because some of that time, yes, you need to plan properly anyways. But I'm going to plan properly so everything goes right. All right?
Yeah,
and that way I can minimize what goes wrong. I don't want to concentrate on everything being a failure. Because...
Well, I think if thoughts are things, right? And I think if you continue to... If you think it's going to go wrong, it probably will.
Yeah, exactly. What was that? The old saying, you should live by the saying, anything that can go wrong will go wrong at the worst possible time.
Right.
Wow, that's a hell of a way to live your life. I wonder why they're so defensive.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly. That type of thing. So while we're waiting, if somebody else has a question or anything over about tarot, pop it in there. Anything interesting that goes while we're doing that. And then what I'd like for us to do is maybe you and I'll just pull a card and let's talk about that card and what it means to you and what it means to me. Because I love that people see it can mean a different thing to different people.
Right.
Is one of those things. So tomorrow night, I am going to start and talk to Brigitte. Want to get Brigitte in on some of this. Having tarot classes 8:30 at night on Thursday. I want to do it in a structured manner. I'm going to be using the book that you can pick up in the things below as kind of like the course guideline or the course study book. We're going to follow that a little bit. Not a little bit, a good bit to keep us on track. So I'm planning an hour and a half max, but we're going to move through and eventually we're going to have everybody reading tarot. So when you come in tomorrow night, make sure you bring some type of tarot deck, not an oracle deck, with you. Okay. Brigitte, if you go to Eyes of the Dragonfly, she's been doing these wonderful 1 minute little things about the major arcana, one card at a time. If you want to have a specific look, she's going to be going through. If I know Bridget, she's going to eventually go through the whole damn deck.
Yeah.
And what I want you to see is that's an awesome thing to have, in your arsenal, is to be able to have a place that you can bookmark and say, okay, I need to go see what Bridget says about the Fool. Because not every time do you need to go back and do a full-blown class on it. What I'm doing is going to give you a good in-depth into each of these cards or whatnot. But then I love the way she phrases them, the way she does them, and they're very easy to understand and whatnot. So those are some things we have to look forward to, and people can do that. So it's Eyes of the Dragonfly, right, Bridget?
Yes. Yep. Eyes of the Dragonfly on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and eyesofthedragonfly.com on the World Wide Web.
And there we go. And folks, I am on Tarot with an Attitude, YouTube, Instagram. I have not been putting stuff up. I put stuff up on TikTok and Instagram for a little bit. I kind of fell short. That's my Achilles heel, is keeping those TikToks running, It can be draining.
I opted out of the TikTok thing because I thought, well, I'll just shoot for the YouTube shorts right now. TikTok is brutal.
Yeah, TikTok can be brutal. Can be very brutal. So these are some of the things we got going on the 26th of just in a couple of weeks of October. I will be live at the Off Cabot again, same theater I was at before in Beverly, Mass. Links down below, how to check out tickets. Man, y'all come out. If y'all can get up to New England, let's see what's going on and find out what's happening. And Bridget, people can reach you out. You got it right up there. Brigitte at eyesofthedragonfly.com. So there we go. Some things are going, a little house cleaning going on. You got anything else coming up?
Me?
Yeah.
No, nothing like I'm working on maybe some lives or something, but I don't have anything scheduled right now.
Okay. All right. Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. It's when you just want to take a break, because this is, folks, one of the things too, if you get into this, it can be very draining. You need to be drinking your water. You need to be rested. When you're done, you need to take a break. Okay. So, it's good to see you. Welcome aboard. I haven't seen that name before, but welcome, or I don't remember it. If I'm off base, I apologize. Everybody, make sure you're hitting the like button and the subscribe button, and do me a favor. We need people to share. It's one of those things we do, and it helps out. So, may I ask a message? I love this from the spirit guide, Frank. I like that he knows which spirit guide, and we're being specific. I really love that. So we are going to ask Spirit, going to see what we can't do here. Give me a second. Bridget, if you want to start, I'm going to see if I can. I want you to think about Frank, James. I take JAS as James. It may not be. I'm sorry, Jazz. We'll just say Jazz. Mr. Romero. Let's see what's going on. So let's look at it this way. We want to. I'm going to start trying to channel a little bit of that and then pull the cards. Okay. So
yeah, that's fine. You can channel, because I can pull the cards, but I don't do that. I don't do the channel the way you do it.
All right.
Jazz is a female. She's
okay. Hey, Jazz. Okay.
Pretty adamant.
Love it. Ms. Romero. I like that. Thank you.
Yep. So. All right. So I pulled the Four of Pentacles. And for me, the message coming across from there is, to not be so protective of yourself, of your things. Be a little more open, maybe a little more vulnerable, is what I'm getting with the Four of Pentacles. Typically the Four of Pentacles represents a little bit of, I always think of it as like a miser, like you're holding on and you're holding on to what you got and you don't want to let any of it go. So there may be some stuff that you just need to you need to release in order to move forward.
Okay. And what did you get? I wasn't even paying attention. I was doing this thing or whatnot.
The Four of Pentacles.
Yep. Establishing a good solid base right here in the real world. Being very grounded. That's one of the big things there. Interestingly enough, what I got here is the Page of Wands, and everything started coming upside down. Everything. Okay. So I'm really taking this, Jess, as there's some type of warning, and it has some type of warning to do around some type of relationship. Okay. I want you to be very careful because, like I said, all three of these cards came to me in reverse. So a lot of times that's either talking about you yourself, actions that you need to take and dealing in with you, or that you're blocking some of these things. Okay. Sometimes it just means the direct opposite of what the card is. I normally don't read. That's the reason they're back up here, and Spirit knows that. But what I got was I could not overlook the fact that this is some type of warning. The Page of Wands. When I see the Page of Wands, we have this passionate spirit, things I want to do or whatnot. When it comes upside down, it reminds you not to get too childish about something you're overly excited about. Okay? If that makes sense. The Two of Cups is talking about there might be a relationship here, but notice that the cups are emptying in this when it's upside down. Okay? They're not filling up, they're overflowing. This very well could be somebody that you've met, that you want in your life, but they don't necessarily belong there. And this is followed up, interestingly enough, with the Four of Pentacles to the Two of Pentacles. Lot going on. And you need to be careful about the way you're juggling all this. Is it juggling a relationship with your real world? Things like that. Juggling things a little too much, and you have to be careful. So what I want you to do, we've had the Karma card come up a lot and the Temperance card. I want you to understand, take a deep breath. Move through things with caution and start weeding out what is actually supposed to be and what is not. What is a truth? What is something you're feeding your own self that could turn around and tie you up and become your own devil? All right. Does that make sense, Brigitte?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So real quick, Jess, that's what I've gotten here on this end. Let us know. Put it in the chat how it what that means to you. If it's something important, if there's something else, remember we're reading completely cold here. So that is one of the things. So you got a lot going on there, a lot of things to think about. And that would be the biggest thing right now is just, I have to make a decision about this customer at my job. There's a relationship who makes me feel uncomfortable. Okay. But yes, I'm in a new relationship with somebody, but we don't always communicate. All right. So let's take everything there. That relationship is with a customer or with this person. It's going to be up to you. And that's what's happening, okay, between either one of these. And it could be that it's involving both. It's a relationship issue, your relationship with your customer and relationship with somebody that you're seeing. Now, this person seems to make you uncomfortable. I really feel like some of this is involving that customer, okay, may make you feel uncomfortable. Yes, I'm in a new relationship with somebody, but we don't always communicate. Now, let's talk about the customer. This very well with that juggling could be you starting to ask yourself, is this customer worth, Brigitte and I can both talk to you about this, is it worth the effort you're putting out for what you're getting back? Remembering a customer basis. When you start putting out more energy, more time than what something's worth, and that very well could be why all of these cards are upside down, because it's going to come back to you to say you got to make a decision. Okay. Brigitte, you got anything on that knowing this little piece right here?
No, I don't think so. I think there's definitely a dichotomy of some sort of fear and control going on there, but I don't know if it's inward or outward, right?
Right.
But who's got the who's driving it,
Right.
So
Right. I really feel like this was more towards that customer because it's really bothering you because of business. With the other one, if you want me to differentiate, we can differentiate. Put down in there, I'd like to know, a reading about the relationship. But I really feel that this is about the customer. Okay.
And see, I was thinking with my Four of Pentacles, it was more about a personal relationship. I feel like there's too much guard up in the relationship. Okay. And Jazz did say there isn't a whole lot of communication. So,
and that's flag number one. Okay. If you're wanting something to go, I know couples that knew each other over great distances and they were able finally at some point in their life come together. But it was one of those things where communication was key. It's that, and if you're not communicating, that could be that whole why everything's getting jumbled up. If y'all aren't communicating clearly on the other relationship, either relationship, what Bridget's saying makes a lot of sense, because if you're not communicating, now that communication issue becomes a problem. Now you've got the juggling. Well, I thought he meant this, they meant this, that type of thing. And that goes with the customer. There are times Gilly and I have been about ready to I know she's been ready to behead me. And one of the things was, I did not understand our verbiage was completely off. I thought she was talking about A. She wasn't even talking about B. She's talking about F or G. Okay. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now it makes total sense. Okay. So that very well could be playing and why there's so much juggling back and forth going on. So, yeah. So I see she's put something else in. We'll check that in a second. But Cynthia, Rob and Bridget, you have to prepare and raise energy before you read, like I do, before a spell. I'm going to let you start there.
Probably not to the same extent that you do before a spell. But I will sit down, and this is before I work any kind of energy with anybody. So even whether it's a reading or it's a healing and an energy exchange, healing or Reiki or whatever, I do sit down. I do take a couple of minutes to ground, to cleanse the area, to have, I ask my guides and my ancestors and, angels and spirit to, make sure that everything's done. I'm protected, that the other person's protected, that everything's done in, for everybody's highest good. I do that. I don't usually say it out loud. It's a very sort of quiet personal thing that I do. Rob could tell you, I'll sit here with my sage and I'll close my eyes and I'll just have a kind of a silent conversation. Imagine that. And, but what I can say is, even in doing that, sometimes that energy connection just is not there. And I've had to sit in front of people and read for them, and it be just the thinnest little strand. And like at a psychic fair, when I'm sitting in front of somebody and I'm reading for them and they come to the table and you just don't connect.
Yeah.
That's a really hard thing to do. And so there are times where and that to me, Cynthia, is what is exhausting. Trying to pull that connection from somebody or with somebody, trying to sort of twist it and force it so that there's that click.
Especially when they're not forthcoming with information It's like they're holding it too close to their chest to see what you've got to say. And you're like, this is about you. I'm going to get in my car and go have a sandwich. Okay.
Right.
So this is about you. If you don't want to give me feedback, then all I can do is tell you, here's what I see. Have a good day. And when they're not giving you that feedback, it is totally exhausting because you're trying to make sure you're giving somebody the right reason. And it becomes the thing of learning to go, you know what? I'm going to give them what I got. The rest on them.
And I don't need like a book's worth of story, right?
No.
I just need you to say, oh yeah, that makes sense. I don't even need for you to tell me why it makes sense. I just need to know that, oh yeah, yes, that makes sense. That rings true for me. That resonates,
Even with like what we just saw with Jazz, that little bit of information about, well, that could be here or here. Well, there you go. It helped us get direction and it helps us give a more pointed reading. Okay.
Right.
And when somebody
I
just
find it interesting that your reading, which like it always does, is pointing to one situation and my card is pointing probably to the other. Right. So
yeah.
It just goes to show you that you have more than one thing going on at a time. And if you're doing tandem readings, we're not always on the same page.
So you got to take what you want and see what you don't. And a lot of times blend the two. That's just fine. That's the reason we always say at the end of the show, take what you want, leave what you don't. It's okay. But when somebody just wants to sit down like at a booth and test you and go, okay, I'll always start. Do you want me to, is there something particular, or do you want me to just start reading and we see where it goes? And I would much rather have them say, let's start reading and see where it goes, because then spirit can direct it. And then I know how to fine tune it.
Right.
Okay. And, that makes total sense. And as far as prepping mentally, Cynthia, one of the things, it depends on my mindset at the reading. If somebody calls me and says, hey, Rob, would you do it? Bridget will call me and say, hey, Rob, pull some cards for me real quick. Okay. But she and I both have done that with each other. And she and I both have said, give me 20 minutes. Because it depends on our mindset where we're at of being totally focused or not. And then depending on how in-depth or how much it goes, then yes, you can walk away. Like when I walk away from a show, I'm exhausted. When I do a live show, like I'm doing in Beverly, and Bruce and Bridget saw firsthand, man, it is draining. It is completely freaking draining when you're on psychically for an hour, hour and a half. So yes, it is something why I always say, drink your water. You'll always see me in the cup. I have coffee, tea, something like that. Okay. Because I need something to keep me going and keep me balanced or whatnot, because it can be draining. Whenever I'm on stage, I've got a bottle of water, something like that handy to be able to keep things going and grounded. So, and are you exhausted after? Yes. Every reading? No,
not every. When I do
readings, yeah, go ahead.
So if I'm doing a show like a psychic fair and I've got a table and I'm on for 6-8 hours straight, and maybe I get 10 minutes to run and pee and get something to drink. When that's all done, I am beat. But if I just have like usually after lives like this or something like that, I'm not too exhausted. Like I'm ready for bed, but I'm not like, oh, I'm beat. And if I'm reading for somebody, just like over the weekend, I did a reading for somebody and it was like 2.5 hours long. And I was not beat. I had a headache, but I wasn't beat. At the end of it, I had a little bit of a headache, but that went away quick enough.
Right.
But after like a full on several hours of reading one after another, yeah, I'm fried. At the end of that, I am fried. I'm ready for a glass of wine and a pillow.
Right. Exactly. And that's what, and just one of these things that this is talking about is like what you're talking about here. This is an energy drainer. Whenever you see this guy come in, you're already prepped for a problem or whatnot. And that is something, that's the energy of I'm not comfortable. And I don't know what you do for a living as far as other than I see that you're a medium or whatnot, but I don't think that's where your work is, or I have no clue. All right. But yeah, and if it's not your story, you got to ask the boss, because there have been times I've been like, look, I don't know what's going on. Brigitte and Bruce can tell you at my last Beverly, we had somebody leave completely pissed off, blowing up. He read everybody else in the room but me. No, I didn't. But everybody that watched this person, they were negative to begin with. They were putting off such a negative vibe. You know, whether it was RBF, and if, for those of y'all who don't know, resting bitch face, okay, or whatnot. But people saw her and were like, whoa, she even left before the VIP show was ending, and everybody in the VIP portion got a reading. These type of people, yes, it could be something that you might need to either learn how to handle him, or be, like you said, talk to the boss. Can somebody else take care of this customer? And, you know, if you want to talk a little bit more about it, I can go into it more in detail if you want to do a session. Okay. But that is something, you know, that you need to be aware of. And that feeling red in the face is either prepping for bad or whatnot. That's your intuition. I would ask you to look at how many times have you been prepped to handle him, and but nothing went wrong, but you just don't like him now. All right. And some of that, it's only natural. All right. And if he's made a 12-year-old boy cry, then, you know, some people just aren't worth it. They're not worth the aggravation. They're really not. There have been people I have told in readings, I cannot help you. Okay. You're just looking for somebody to give you the answer you want to hear. There have been people I have told after I've worked with them 6 to 8 months, you're not doing anything I asked you to do. You know, this keeps coming back. It's not even fair for me to, I'm getting into an ethical situation where I don't even want to take your money because I feel like we're not doing anything.
Right.
And that it's just not right. So those things do happen. And yes, you have to deal with them. Okay. And if the boss is like, he spends X amount of money, get over it. Here you go. Okay. Put on that happy face, go into a different place, and just be. When I was a cop, I hated doing traffic accidents more than anything in the world. I hated them, despised them. So what did I do? I got very good at them. Okay. So when it hit, boom, 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 over, done with, gone, and I was off to something else. Okay. I got so good at it, they actually sent me off to traffic homicide school. So I was like, oh, great. Now, but that I got into. Okay. But this is something I'm telling you might want to do, is learn who he is, learn what he does, and say, okay, I've got to learn how to handle this and make a game out of changing him. Okay.
Right.
You know, that type of thing. So, you know, Cynthia, I definitely understand the focus factor, but if I'm not feeling it, then I don't have to do it. Correct. That's the great thing about being a solitary witch. It's the greatest thing about being a solitary anything. You know, there are times I will sit down in the morning and go to read. There are other times in the morning I don't read. I get up and my brain is, I don't know if I didn't get enough sleep, you know, or whatnot. It wasn't there. And it's just a waste of time for me to pull a deck of cards and start reading until I wake up. You know, you ever go through that, Brigitte?
Well, I've made a commitment to post every day on my page. So, but there are mornings where I do not feel like doing it.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, I just want to sit here. I want to have my coffee and I don't want to move until it's time for me to log on for work. Right. That's so, but, you know, most of the time, I'm posting. There's just been a couple of times where like we were on the boat or on vacation where I was just not in I was not in a position where I could post that day. But
Right.
but they just, I I feel like I've made a commitment to the people who are, and they have an expectation to see something daily. So I do my absolute best to try and get it in there daily. Sometimes, and I think you can tell sometimes by the message, um, if I'm not really feeling the vibe that day. You know what I mean? Like if you read the message.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. So Donna and Joe, I'm at a turning point. Do I go with my gut or sit and wait a bit? What do you both think? Man, I'm gonna tell you, we just got done talking about that gut thing and how important it is.
Right.
The key thing is, I would tell this, and I've done this in marriage counseling, I've done this in couples, I've done this in addictions. When you say, I want to sit and wait, a lot of times you already know the answer. You're trying to convince yourself. So I don't even know what this is about.
I don't either. Then my sister and I have no idea.
I wasn't going there, but so this is one of those things where, Donna, I didn't know if it was Donna or Joe, but I assumed it was Donna. Donna, one of the things I would say here, okay, is don't keep yourself in some negative situation, whatever that may be. Okay. What have you got? What is that?
It's a 5 of Pentacles. So let's stop focusing on what we're going to lose and focus more on what we'll gain by letting it go.
Yeah, that 5 of Pentacles, it's a rough card sometimes. It's talking about we need help, we need advice, we don't know what to do. But a lot of times it will show somebody in front of a church and they're walking by the church because their head is down and they're not seeing that help is much closer than it, and you can move on into the 6 of Pentacles, which is the next card, which means you're able to give back. Things have gotten better and you're able to do that. So I think that 5 of Pentacles sums up what I was talking about, was don't stay in a miserable situation because you just want to be sure. We all just want to be sure. Sometimes you're never sure. Okay? There's no way. But if you're not happy, if something's going on that's making you uncomfortable, like jazz, okay, it needs to be addressed. Okay? Because I've never seen anything good unless you're wondering about a truth. You see what I'm saying? I'm like whoever we were talking about before, we were like, stay the course, keep your energy because somebody's lying to you and you got to find out and find your own truth. Donna, this for you is you're already saying your gut instinct is to go. And if you know it's true and your own personal knowledge is saying, I know what's going to do, sometimes that's just a defense mechanism to keep you from making the choice because it's a hard choice. Now, I'm going to pull one card for you. Yep. Wow. Making a choice. All right. And look at what I got.
The Two of Swords.
I'll just do this. No, 7 of Pentacles. Okay. 7 of Pentacles. Look at what's going on. 7s are always about making choices. All right. But I'm gonna bring this up on the screen. I wasn't because it's one card, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up. Okay. Because this 7 of Pentacles is talking about, a lot of times it is about sit back, wait, look at what's going on. But you have to look at the fruit of the situation that's been being born. It's not telling you don't do anything. It's saying take a real life examination, take a real life evaluation of what you planted. Is this a weed or is it not growing in the way you want it to grow, or is it? And you're like, if it's not growing the way you want to go, he's got the hoe right there and he's ready to take care of it. Get the weed out of the garden. Okay. So 7 is not always about holding still, but it is about looking, use your personal knowledge, use that intuition and say, you know what? I don't see this getting any better. So if it's a situation you feel like you need to get out of, you know what? The only thing that can happen is you start to get out of it, and that forces a change.
Yeah,
So,
you're talking and I'm sitting here shuffling. I got the Lovers, which is more choice, and I've
okay.
got
And
the,
commitment. Yep.
yep, the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords, which to me is just starting new beginning, starting over. So whatever it is that, I mean, I will always tell you, you go with your gut, because I, so many times, how many times have you not listened to your gut and it just turned out very poorly? So,
All right. I went ahead and pulled cards. So we'll see what this has got. Okay. Knight of Swords. And Bridget and I are laughing. This is saying, you know what to do. Type to, move on. Time to move. Take some type of action. Huh?
I'm laughing at all the swords. If I'm laughing because you guys don't understand my sister. it's stop up here. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
You're overthinking
it around in your brain.
And look at what we got here. Knight of Swords. You're so worried that you're going to make the wrong decision that you're living in hell right now. Okay? If that makes any sense. I don't even know what the situation is, but
I don't either.
That's what this is talking about. Knight of Swords is anxiety. It's worried about tomorrow. What's going to happen, where it's going to be, things like that. And you know what? I tell people all the time, you might as well go ahead and make a decision, because you're already living in that aspect in your mind, worrying about it. All right? And the final card here is the Eight of Pentacles. Eights are always about movement. Okay? The Knight of Swords, making a plan and charging on and saying, okay, this is coming in. And notice all of these cards, I didn't have to turn any of these cards face up. These cards all came face up. So it's like, make a plan and move forward. All right? Stop worrying about tomorrow. Eight of Pentacles, look at what's happening right here, right now. The devil is in the details. You have enough facts in front of you to make your decision and know which way to move. Does that make sense, Bridget?
Yes, it does.
All right. So there we go. I'm at a turning point. Do I go with my gut or sit and wait a bit? What do I think? Okay. There we go. There we go. So that's the answer to that question. I think right now is the best we can do at this point. All right. And if you want to talk to both of us, I think you know how to get a hold of us. Okay. We'll be glad to talk to you together. All right. So let's see what's going on here. So Wolf, howling at the moon, it feels like I'm in a maze and I don't know which way to go. You and millions of other people right now, Bridget and I were just talking about this whole exhaustion, frustration things. There are so many things. I was even looking up. There's solar flares and 3-eye Atlas is all coming in. And yes, that's all affecting.
Pluto went direct.
Yeah, Pluto went direct. Mars went,
in the microwave.
Yeah. There's so much going on in the cosmos, okay, that is truly affecting the way we think, and it's affecting what's happening around us with the energy field. That's what I feel. What do you feel, Bridget?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a shift happening. I think it's with everybody, or most everybody, anybody who's tuned in spiritually is feeling it. We're definitely, I think, on the cusp of some kind of shift. And I don't know what that shift is, but
I hear you.
You can, and the thunder rolls and lightning strikes, right? So it's coming, whatever it is, but who knows? I don't know what to make of it. I've been through so many shifts and changes personally that these days I've learned to just sort of duck and roll with whatever's happening, because the world doesn't stop while you shift, while you ascend, while you move forward, while you jump your timelines. Everything else still happens around you. So
And it still feels like sometimes, okay, I'm going to shift left, and the rest of the world expected me to shift right. And it feels like I'm doing that shift against everything.
Right.
And it's going to be one of the things. Donna, I see you coming up. We are going to get you there real quick. And but Wolf, in looking at this, I got the Page of Swords right out of the gate. Now, the Page of Swords is talking about getting in and studying the situation, knowing what's going on, and feeling like you're on a balancing rope. Okay, but you're studying it so you can learn your way around what's going on. But in the present, the Six of Pentacles came in. Here, I'm going to show you what came in. I'm just going to do it. Okay. The Six of Pentacles came in reversed. Okay. All right. Yeah. So with me on a reverse Six of Pentacles, it's talking about you got to look inside. You're looking outside for too many answers, and you have the answer within yourself, and you need to start following that instinct what to go. You're causing a lot of your own drama. There's that Five of Wands again. Okay. And maybe you're trying to be too appeasing for other people. All right. And find a route that's best for you, even if you got to do something different than everybody else is doing. Okay. So this is it. You got a lot going on. And what I'm really getting here is you're overthinking it. The Six of Pentacles is talking about being able to give back, do whatever, move, ebb and flow. Notice there's circuitous, to this with the 8, the infinity symbol in the background. What you give, you get back. What you give, you get back. What are you putting out there? Where are you at? And then the Five of Wands, this is an inner struggle for you, okay? Because you're too much worried about other people. All right? That's what I got for you on this short one, Yeah. What do you think, Bridget?
Yeah, I got the Five of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. So,
okay. Wow.
I'm sorry, the Knight of Pentacles. I'm sorry. And look, he's the one-headed horseman or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I agree. There's something, the Five of Wands to me is always close, either internal or something happening with the people closest around you. Typically it's whereas the Five of Swords is more of an outward battle to me, a battle that's beyond your, that's out here. So, right. So this Five of Wands and then your Two of Swords, which again is people up in their head, running around, and not knowing, which way to go. And then there's your Knight of Pentacles, who's just, tromping along. Dadu, dadu. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there. And so it's really slow moving and you're dragging your feet. And, Gillian made a really good statement in the chat earlier, which is not making a decision is still a decision. And, I think that, there needs some inward focus and a little less worry about maybe how people are going to react or how people are going to, come across to something. I get the feeling you know what you want to do, and the maze is because you're trying to do it and not deal with everybody around you while you're doing it. Not answer the questions, not stand up for yourself, whatever it is that you're going to do. So,
So Wolf, there you go. That's our thoughts on what's happening with that and everything else. Let us know. We'd love to hear how that resonates with you. So, shoot us a line. There is a comment by Donna when she's talking about, so to give it some insight. I'm going to keep going. Donna, I want people to hear me on this. This is a subject that is near and dear to my heart because of the years that I counseled and ran addictions and treatment clinics and whatnot. I got hauled on the carpet one time for calling AA a cult. Okay. Now, this is why it's near and dear to my heart. All right. Donna, you have to do what works for you. Everything is individualized. All right. But in that, you have to be honest with yourself. Would you continue on with the church spiritual group? Okay. And I can already tell you what's happening. You're leaving there more uplifted than you are in AA. Having been to tons of these things, I've been asked to speak at them, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, credit where credit's due. Millions of people have found their way and continue to use AA as a way to maintain sobriety. Okay. I will never say they don't work. They do work for that person, for those people. But it is something like for every 36 people, only 3 succeed. So for every time there's new people in there, we're hoping somebody succeeds and gets beyond the year mark or whatnot. One of the things I have had addicts come to me and talk truthfully about with NA and AA, okay, is they have said right out of the gate, Rob, I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to smoke anything until I went to my AA meeting. And everybody, they can be such a negative thing. Who is worse than who? Everything else. They never allow you to declare victory over something you've worked very hard to get under control. And I do not believe in that. I don't think you have to call yourself an alcoholic for the rest of your life. Okay? But you do have to remember what works for you and what doesn't. And the next thing is you have to be honest. When things start, are you going to stay faithful to the church group? That type of thing. Maintaining that accountability to other people and having that support system. I will say, have some type of support system that you lock into, that you can say, for my foreseeable future, this is going to be it. But you have to find the one that makes you feel good, makes you generate or whatnot. That's Rob's. That's my master's in social work. That has nothing to do with the spiritual aspect of it. Okay. But if it's making you miserable, all right, I'm telling you, I understand you completely. Okay. And you got to do what's best for you. Now, and whatever, if you're on any type of, you will attend court order or anything, I don't know any of that or whatnot. Okay. You got to fulfill that first. Okay. But when you get to a point where you can make that free decision or whatnot on your own, okay, go try the church group. You know, one nice thing is AA will let you back. You know, you can always go back and start over or do whatever you need. Okay. But do what's going to make your heart happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think for sure.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Wow. Okay. And, you know, Donna, a lot of people in here, you know, look, even Cynthia, you know, Deborah's like, best wishes. Cynthia, Donna, go with the one that is helping you the most. If you don't feel that you can continue both, I've never been in your position. And thank you for admitting you've never been there. It is tough, but to watch people go through it. I've been to funerals of clients. I've been, you know, everything, but I've watched a lot of clients succeed. And one of the things we did was find the right formula for them. That has to be. There are great things about AA. There's a lot of good things to follow in the big book. Take the big book. Look at the steps. You might want to follow along with them, but you might not need to be in that group of people.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, sure. So. Absolutely. I mean, I would imagine. So I've never had to go to AA or any kind of addiction counseling or anything. Thank God. I'm lucky enough to not have to have done that. But there are several people close to me who have.
Yeah.
And I feel like the thing with a lot of times with AA, people are they're focusing on the bad parts of, not that there's good parts to addiction, but the the focus is I've had all these shitty experiences.
Yeah, and that's what
are drinking related.
People walk out of there feeling like beat up and like holy shit. And then when they think they've heard it all, somebody comes in and they're like, I sold my dog to a dog train. So it's like holy crap, Yeah, and there comes a point where every spiritual light, even God said in the Bible, which they swear upon in AA, is at some point you ask forgiveness. If it's truly there, you let it go. And then God says, I will toss it as far as the east is from the west. You're the one that keeps bringing it up. And you're going to a meeting that keeps bringing it up. Yeah. Okay? So there's more than one way across that finish line. We have to find the best way to work. If you want to call me, talk to me, I'm all ears. Okay? Let me know. Okay? And let's see what's happening. Perfect sense. Good. I love to hear that. All right. Yeah. The not drinking is easy. It's the isms that are hard. Oh my God. Yeah. And there is a lot of that mess. And there's so many rules. Oh, Jesus. Dear God. And so I'm with you. We love you. All right. And we'll say a prayer for you. Okay. So I'm glad you came on. Thanks. Yeah. Bridget, you got anything else? Man, we are an hour and 11 minutes in.
Right. No, I don't think so. Not today. This was just kind of a hang, right? A chill. Yeah. So, I don't really have anything else.
Yeah,
I think
good.
I'm good. How about you?
This is Bridget and I hanging around and talking about shit and seeing who wants to do what. And here's how it goes. We have a lot of fun doing this. So I like this style of Wednesday nights where people can learn, do some things or whatnot, where maybe it's not so structured. Cynthia talked to me and sent me a text. I told you about, maybe we should look at one night in doing reincarnation. That's a very deep subject. Okay. And we can look at it, but I think we got to be careful because that could take more than 1 or 2 nights, Well, but
yeah, I think people have very definite opinions about it. Right. I know I do. There's all kinds of,
Yeah.
Do you choose your path? Do you not choose your path? Are you coming back as the same person in a different body? Are you, or is it just your soul regenerating and you have a different personality? So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff we could talk about.
Absolutely. So folks, with that being said, tomorrow night, 8:30 tarot classes. Be there, be square. I had to pull that one out of the old archives. Okay. All right. And just remember, take what you want, leave what you don't, but leave having experienced some peace, love, and light. Bang.
Bang.